The FlexMod is so great because of the fact that students are able to take more classes, and that's really helped the Family Consumer Science department because we have a higher enrollment, and that's giving students more exposure to different skills in our various areas, whether it be in the culinary field or the healthcare field or design, child development. They're able to really explore those careers in a greater capacity.
The FlexMod is really great for our school, considering I have a lot of classes and I do kind of a lot academically. And with the FlexMod, it makes it really easy to eat in class, to make sure you get the right information. When I have class but I'm leaving at a certain time, I can go back to a certain class and make sure I get the right things that I need for the day.
With the FlexMod, I have been able to have students do a lot more hands-on training, as well as I've been able to get them out of the classroom on more field trips. Because with the FlexMod, we have the varying amount of times that they may be in class, as well as they have their own time part, which we call PLT, where they can do some more of the lecture-based material or video-based material so that in class we can be more hands-on rather than taking up class time to do those types of things.
So I have never taught in anything but FlexMod. I came in as an intern into the FlexMod. It was their first year. But I really think that the FlexMod is great. It allows students to hone in on what they are interested in. If they're interested in taking child development but they have a history class, they're able to work through both of those and have maybe some of those course conflicts but still get both of the materials in. And really focus on what they're interested in. I really like the FlexMod as well because it allows me to have altered class times and really kind of look at different models of teaching and being able to do different things that wouldn't have been realistic with our classes 5 days a week.
Oh, FlexMod. It's very different for me. From the middle school, it's a whole new responsibility that you have to take. And well, what it means for here is, well, you're not really counted on teachers telling you where to go and stuff. You have to do it on your own. And it's kind of like living your own life, but in a high school.
I think the FlexMod is amazing because of it's in the name, it's so flexible. It allows me to tailor my classes in a way that I can meet students' needs. I can help them throughout the week in different facets because of the fact that I'm available during the day. I am able to have shorter periods where I can get them reviews and information. Large lecture allows me to give them a lot of the notes that we can practice then in the lab the following day. So it's not the same day every day where it's cookie cutter. It's the ability to kind of break up the week and give material in different ways for the students.
So for the FlexMod in what I do, it has really allowed me to be in large group settings so I can teach 90 kids a tech tool, a workflow. In the past, I wouldn't be able to meet every single person's needs as far as going into their classrooms. It is also allowed for collaboration time, so teachers get to meet once a week. I meet with them once a month, so I currently have 20 different collaboration times where I'm actually teaching with them, co-teaching them, giving them ideas, getting feedback on what they need. So as a digital learning support teacher, it's really allowed me to have full access to the staff. The other thing that the FlexMod does for me is I meet with students on an individual basis quite a bit, whether it's for social media, whether it's for our broadcasting crew, whether it's for individual work help. The FlexMod allows for, hey, do you have this PLT open? Great, I do too, let's go ahead and meet. And then we're able to give them the individual instruction that is so valuable. Couldn't do that in the regular schedule where we had 7 periods with 54-minute time slots. With the 25 minutes time slots, it gives a lot more openness to meet with students.
It's changed how we instructed and gotten us out of that traditional mindset of lecture, demo lab. We're able to give an awful lot of stuff to guys and gals outside of the classroom or the traditional, 2-hour block, 1-hour block, whatever. With both Canvas and our FlexMod, it allows people to do stuff at home. It allows flexibility as to where you learn best, who you learn with best. It's allowed us to get real intimate with our small groups, and then also real large with our larger groups, and give the large group stuff, the blunt information that you have to do, and then whittle it down to that small group piece. It's been very nice for us.
As far as the teaching model goes, much more individualized to students. So we've minimized how much time we have to see kids in class, so the stuff we do in class becomes much more important. There might have been projects before that I liked to do, but they weren't critical to student learning, that we kind of had to shelve those things. So we said, what's really important here? Now, the trade-off for us is we get more one-on-one time with kids. So I meet with all my kids usually once every 3 weeks, and really we get to go through papers one-on-one, and we really get to talk about writing. The thing I think is really cool is a lot of times you used to pass back papers and kids would kind of look at the last grade and throw it in the recycling. Now you get a chance to really pick their brains. Kids know more what I'm looking for and what good writing is and what teachers want to see. The flip side is I've gotten a better insight into what they're thinking. Knowing why kids are doing certain things or being able to talk through the logic behind what they're doing, that's been incredibly helpful for me. As far as the activities directors piece, we have about 46 clubs at Pulaski High School, and we're constantly adding. This year we added 3 new clubs, and on Wednesdays we've got time for our kids to meet with their advisors. We've got almost 1,200 kids here, and especially for freshmen and some of the sophomores, to say we're going to do all our meeting and stuff outside of school, it's just not realistic. So having that time once a week for kids to go out during the day, during homeroom, so we're not cutting into educational time, and meet with their meet with their advisors, stay on top of things. We have about 90% of our kids are involved in clubs here. So it's a great way for our kids to keep involved because every week there's something to do. The other thing is we've seen kids trying new things because they've got Wednesday, they don't want to sit in homeroom, so like, okay, I'm going to go try to be in hacky sack club, or I'm going to go see what trap club is. Our belief and philosophy here is there's something for everybody. We call them CPC days, that you're competing, you're performing, or you're contributing. Competing could be something like we have kids this Friday that are going to state for forensics, or maybe it's our music program. Performing, that might be musical, public speaking engagements, and then contributing. We have a huge Leo club, Spanish clubs that give back to our community, and we really want to push kids to do those things, and like I said, find something for everybody.
The FlexMod is great because almost on a daily basis, it forces you to consider what's best for students, what material do we sort of really need to get through, and what material is going to help propel them along in their career goals. And the FlexMod, causes you to sort of rethink timing and how much time do you have, and what can you get through, and what's most valuable for the students to get through. So I think that's been the best, kind of the greatest feature of the FlexMod, is that almost daily consideration of what you're doing. Under the old schedule, it was very much of, well, if I don't do it today, I'll do it tomorrow, or hey, I need a filler for Thursday and Friday because we're a little thin. I don't want to call that a luxury, but you don't have that constant, 50 minutes every day, which was a little bit of a burden at the time, and now it's very much, you're here, we're here to work, and then we're moving them on their way.
The FlexMod has allowed me to embrace the various teaching areas of my job as an agri-science teacher. I can have a single mod with a small group of students with their hands on something that is in a small space in one of our laboratories, whether it's a plant lab, an animal lab, or a foods lab. It has also allowed us to embrace outdoor classrooms where we have 3 or 4 mods to take a whole group of students out and see something happen from beginning to end. Today, on this beautiful day in spring before a snowstorm arrives at the end of the week, we have students in our aquaculture class that are at our school pond, and they are pulling and setting pike nets to do wildlife surveys on the fish populations that we have inside of that pond. Students will see a variety of fish. They'll be able to identify and actually hold and handle these fish. It's hands-on experiences like these that would not be passable in a regular 52 or 45-minute class. These students are able to become completely immersed, hopefully not in water, in the subject that they're learning.
The FlexMod provides students an opportunity to, take some ownership for their learning. It provides them flexibility within their school day to really maximize their free time or open time within the schedule. Here, teaching art allows students to come in for open studio time and take advantage of needing some extra time on their projects, or if they want to spend more time on their projects. The FlexMod provides students that flexibility to do that. And every day is different. I think in regards to changing my teaching approach, I love the variety that the FlexMod offers. Not every day is the same in regards to the schedule, so every day is new, every day is fresh. As a teacher, as we transitioned into the FlexMod, when was the last time you heard a student say, oh my gosh, I love my Thursdays or I love my Fridays? Because maybe it's a little lighter or maybe it's the courses that they really like that day. And in regards to teaching or changing my teaching, being able to phase our courses differently. So here in art we have studio time, and that would be what you'd consider a regular class time. And then we have small groups where we meet with students and do critiques, and it's a shortened period of time, but it's structured much differently than our studio time.
In terms of the teaching schedule, our schedule hasn't changed much with the FlexMod. The kids still have basically an hour class, which would be 2 30-minute mods. But the beauty of the FlexMod has been what we call the PLT process, where in this particular weight room and fitness center, kids get to come in during their PLTs and either get workouts in, do makeups, and that's been really a nice advantage of the schedule.
So when most people talk about the FlexMod here at Pulaski, they wonder, well, how does it affect our athletes? You know, usually we talk about how it affects academia, but our athletes really have a benefit to the FlexMod, because what happens is in the FlexMod, they're able to negotiate their schedules in such a way that they could, for example, take most of their classes in the morning and have personal learning time in the afternoon, and therefore when they leave for athletic events, they don't miss the big learning times. Furthermore, for example, a lot of our athletics don't happen on Wednesdays, so you'll see a lot of our kids during Wednesday during the day. A lot of those kids will take more of their academic classes on Wednesdays rather than a different day of the week. So it's really helped our kids in that regard, because they're able to negotiate their own schedules and have a sense of ownership in their own schedules.
Oh, I like it a lot better than having everyday class, because it really gives me I can spread out my time and I don't have to focus on everything every day, and I have a different teacher, so their style always works different with mine, so it's always nice to change things up every day.
I believe that the FlexMod is the best for our students because it is preparing them for secondary education. A lot of times students are handheld through high school and they get to college and there's that shell shock kind of moment where in the FlexMod our students already know that there are things outside of the classroom that they have to be doing in order to be successful in class. It also prepares them for more of that varied workload. So I heard one of my seniors talking today that they registered for classes for next year and they don't have any class on Tuesday. Okay, and with the FlexMod, they kind of do experience that. They do probably have a light day where they know, okay, this is my day to get work done. And then they have that heavy day where they might not do a ton of homework because they're in class for a majority of that time.
My only experience was in my freshman year, but I do remember a lot from it. With the FlexMod, it's great because you get to experience other teachers and how they teach and other students. But let's say you're put into a group project, like on Monday. That's your tour class. That's your teacher of record, and they do all your grading. So let's say you turn an assignment in a different classroom, that bin goes to your tour teacher.
I think if we do it right, it's really good for students because of the ability to meet their needs. I think that's really what it comes down to. We're preparing them for the next level. So if it's in the workforce or if it's in college, this is where they're going to have to be at some point. We need to teach them more responsibility. I think in this day and age, we hold kids' hands way too much. And I think this allows them to start recognizing where they fall short and where they excel in that, and we don't leave them behind, but kids that start to learn how to work with that higher level of responsibility, I think they are going to be way ahead of their competition and other people in the future when they get out of high school because of the FlexMod.
What's best about it and why it makes it best is it really allows students to do what they would like. They get to choose the path and the options that they want. You can take an AP class and you can also be in medals if you would like. And that just really never happened. And I've been in this business a long time, and it seems like this schedule allows for students to be able to choose the path, the learning passion that they want to do. It just didn't happen with the old schedule.
The FlexMod has opened up kids' schedules, so we're used to it, and our generation is used to a certain style of learning, and that style is not something that's as common today. Kids are, they want to be onto that next thing, or they want to be able to explore more into what their passion is, not just what you're telling them. As a parent, and I'm a parent of students coming into the high school here, I'm excited for my boys to be able to have the flexibility that the schedule gives them, not just in classes being abnormally long or short or that type of piece, but to be able to explore anything that they want and as deep as they want without having to miss out anything or any of the other stuff.
I think it's more individualized. It becomes a matter of, when you're struggling with something, instead of saying we're just going to try to address the whole group, now I can get that one-on-one help. It's much easier. The other thing is, I think you see some kids that they're like, I'm going to cram as many credits and get as many opportunities as I can. We can cater to that kid. You'll also see the kid that's a high flyer as a senior that says, you know what, I'm going to take 5 classes, they're all going to be AP, or they're all going to be college credit, and I'm just going to hammer on those 5 and do really, really well. The flip side is you have a kid who's maybe going into the workplace, more opportunities to do things down in the shop, in metals, or in woods. We really can do more for more kids. We can individualize that learning experience.
I think from a student standpoint, it very much is a sense of independence, and they're going to do this on their own, and there's a lot of pride that comes with that, and a lot of learning that comes with that as well, more than just maybe English or math, from the sense of, like I said, doing it on their own and taking their own responsibility, but even on a daily basis. Their schedule is different than their friend's schedule, which is different than a Tuesday schedule, so they're able to sort of look at things and say, hey, what do I want to do with my day?
The greatest benefit for the FlexMod for a student is both the flexibility, but I think also the variety. I think for some students that variety can be challenging. We as humans like kind of repetition and kind of a similar pattern to that. Although every week is the same, it's not like every week is complete chaos, but those first couple weeks, it takes a little bit of time for students to understand their weekly schedule. But like I said, when was the last time you had a student say, I really like my Thursdays, or whatever day it might be? I hear that a lot from students. Oh, I can't wait till Wednesday when either I've got some open mods that I can get my homework done. And so you start seeing students planning ahead within the week and say, I've got these things, I don't meet with my class, say on Wednesday, but I know I've got a big test or something that I need to prepare for Thursday. So they're starting to look at their weekly schedule and starting to plan how they can use that to maximize their learning.
Well, I think certainly having the ability to be scheduled throughout the course of the day. Monday being maybe different than Tuesday and being different than Wednesday. So it offers a lot of variety during a student's schedule, and certainly from the ability to take more than just your standard 7 classes or your 8 classes that you would find in a standard day. Kids are able to handle conflicts and resolve those conflicts appropriately and have more opportunities, and that's what it's about.
I think the best part for our students is number one, they get to take more classes theoretically and get those filled within their day. But number two, there's that ownership. They own their schedule. They get to decide what classes they want to take, when they want to take them, when learning is best for them. And I think that has a huge benefit. Back in the day when we were all in school, you had 7 periods or 8 period days, and you went from one room to the next to the next. And there wasn't any ownership in what you felt was best for you or when you learned best during the day.
If you're thinking of moving into our district with the FlexMod, I would check out our high school website as well as our course description book, because with this schedule you're able to take more courses and you will be able to kind of dabble in many of your interests.
If you're considering moving to a school with a FlexMod, I think what it really does is it allows options. One thing that a lot of people, I think, see as a negative is actually a positive, where you have so many classes that you could take and potentially you have a conflict. We see it as we are allowing students to take more classes and have more options in the day. And because of that, we are giving more variety, and students can take what they need and what they desire at Pulaski High School. And I think that is just something that no other school can offer if they are not in the FlexMod.
So one of the things that's really crucial for the FlexMod schedule to work is to have what's called a learning management system. For us, Canvas, it is a tool by a company called Instructure. It allows for our students to have 24/7 access to online learning, and it's a portal where all of our instructors place their learning materials, whether it's a presentation, whether it's a video of a large group, whether it is a resource, whether it is the actual thing that needs to be completed, the project, the learning experience. That is available in a one-stop shop, and that's Canvas. In a FlexMod, a Canvas type tool is absolutely crucial because students will be in a class for 5 mods in a week. They then have multiple PLT in which they need to complete additional items or ask questions or do whatever. And Canvas, which is our online learning portal, is where they need to go get that. What's been awesome is that prior to having Canvas, prior to the FlexMod, we had students being asked to go to multiple different platforms, whether it's a blog, a website, just through email, Google Drive, Edmodo was another tool. The students were actually confused. Where do I go for this class? Where do I go for that class? And so now, again, it's a one-stop shop for our students to go access any of the materials, learning resources that they need for their particular courses.
You got to see it in motion. I know when we went to this, and we were lucky that they sent us out to a school in Omaha to look, and you kind of, in your head, you're kind of like, what is this going to be? And I've told people, until you really see it work, it's hard to imagine it. Like, this thought of kids coming and going, and the freedom. There's a study hall going on right behind me, and if you look, there's really not a lot of supervision going on. I mean, I'm standing here, the kids are fine, they're working quietly. We have really good kids here, and they make this system work for us because they're able to handle that freedom.
Obviously it's the scheduling. I think we had just gotten the old schedule down to a system where we could, I think a couple people plugged in some information, it spit out its information, we adapted it, and then we sort of went to this FlexMod, and I certainly was not even involved in all of the intricacies of the scheduling, but it seems to be a monster. But if you have a couple solid people there that are working on organization and the spreadsheets and kind of keeping their eye on the big picture, it's definitely workable. And I would think we've gotten it down. I think the first year it took us, for the English department, maybe 2 full days to schedule our classes for the next year. And I think this year we were done in maybe 4.5 hours. So it definitely is a learning curve, but it can certainly get better. That's probably the biggest hurdle, would be the scheduling. And then, just the disseminating information as far as informing parents. We were told when we went to it, any problem that comes up, from the paper towels in the bathroom to a snow day, it was going to be the problem of the FlexMod. The FlexMod caused this. And I think we've gotten beyond that now, which is good, but that was a big hurdle.
I think they need to be prepared for their students to take ownership for their time in their learning. I'd say that's the greatest challenge, is just having students take ownership for that time. And I think we spend a lot of time as homeroom teachers working to support students in learning that process. But for those students that start to understand the benefits of the schedule and really take advantage of the opportunities that the schedule provides in regards to spending time either where students want to or need to, it is a tremendous benefit to the students in getting the most out of their high school experience.
Well, I think first of all, I would, encourage them to be happy about it. This is really a positive thing. It does take a little while to get used to, and certainly our freshmen, it takes a week or 2 to get accustomed, and the parents to get accustomed to the schedule. But once they dive in and see the benefits, maybe even feel the benefits academically, socially, I think it's just an easy change, positive change, and it's very productive for students.
Right. So I talked before about how, back in the day, we remember school being one way. And I know when I talk to parents all the time about their students, they remember school as they had it. And I would just tell them school's not that way anymore. It's so important that they understand that schools nowadays really try to stress that each kid is unique and each kid is different. We really go out of our way, especially in the Flex Mod, to make learning specialized for each student. And so I would say give it a chance, give it that opportunity, because it is different and it'll take you a good week or so to get used to it.